Hello again, everybody. This is Amorgin, and you're very welcome back to another episode of Star Trek Fleet Command. So, guys, hunting the hunters, a little bit of a play on words there for me because I want to deal with some of the people who fancy themselves as hunters in our server and explore the potential for those a little bit to become the hunted. Given that there's a little bit of discussion going on our server right now about the reasons why certain individuals seem to get away with playing the victim whilst they are the aggressor more often than not. So just before we do that, guys, down here with this Kumari, I have a level 11 Kumari. Taking part in this Hunting the Hunter PvE event. We've created our own PvP, it seems, in this Augment space. We'll come to that in a moment. Halfway through level 11 on that, guys, and I've noticed a wee bit of a thing, a couple of wee bugs standing out, and I'm going to just illustrate them before I get into the shenanigans on the founder server. The first thing there is that after something like an hour of these Suliban bounty hunters coming after me, they stop. Have any of you guys noticed that? If so, leave your comments below, discuss it, join me on the Discord or whatever. But these Suliban bounty hunters, they stop after a certain length of time. Now, what I had to do was take the ship home, change ships, and then change back to the Kumari, because I sent the ship home to the station, brought it back, I still wasn't getting attacked. Sent it around various different systems, wasn't getting attacked. You can see there now it is getting attacked, and that's because I had to take the ship home, change it to the VAC list temporarily, then back to the Kumari and sent it back, and the attacks resumed. So I'm doing okay in that event. I'm a little over halfway. The Suliban bounty hunters are giving you 3 points per kill, and the normal mobs are giving you 1 point per kill. So I'll finish that relatively shortly, but I'll be in bed when that finishes, because unlike some people who make excuses about why they're attacking people, claiming that it's for grinding EXP and stuff like this on their ships, there's a perfect way to grind EXP passively by leaving a ship in hostile space and letting the hostiles come after you. So people who use excuses for constantly harassing players and spamming attacks at players who are attempting to be peaceful or mining or whatever it is, it's just not on. It's bullying of the lowest order. But we'll deal with some of that now in a wee moment. We can see here I have a couple of ships out mining this, and one of the things I want to just illustrate here as well is, let me see, Juriana in here, if anybody's noticed this as well, we're looking at decoded data nodes in here, but in actual fact what it's giving you is corrupted data. So I was out mining this thinking I was getting decoded data, and in actual fact I was bringing it home wondering why I wasn't getting decoded data. It's all corrupted data. So that's something Scopely need to sort out. Another very, very irritating bug is I'm after losing a Centurion. Before I started recording, I lost my Centurion due to the bug on warp times. The bug on warp times is still there. The Centurion showed as being 2 minutes longer in transit than it was supposed to be. And it got destroyed, which cost me over 100,000 titanium in the process. So you need to sort out these bugs, guys, because people are getting very tired of the game with all of these bugs. And then on a server like ours, where toxicity is rising due to boredom and people being too involved in the game and not knowing what's good for them, when to put it down, and letting the game rule their lives and bearing grudges and all sorts of nasty things happening there with a small group of individuals. It's about time we had changes to the game that have make a significant difference to the quality of life for the player base, and particularly for the guys on the founder server who have been around a long time and been around the block. So hunting the hunters, guys, those who fancy themselves hunters on our server may very well find themselves the hunted very soon, and we're going to take a look at a little bit of what's going on in that regard. So we can see here, guys, that this lad just kept spamming my base. I was away at an important appointment, and my shield had just dropped, and who landed coincidentally at the perfect time, except this lad Skywalker, who is a bit of a fan, I think, and he was certainly enough of a fan to keep spamming his ships at my base and wasting an awful lot of titanium. You can see there what I'm using to repair it. I go through a fair bit of this. I'm not losing, you'll notice, any of my power steel or any of that, because I'm constantly repairing as he's hitting the base, and it's a bit of a silly strategy. Now, when I called him out on this in global chat, he said that he was getting experience points for his ship, and that guy there you're after seeing coming out with personal abuse, like to back up this kind of harassment, shocking stuff from a very toxic element in the community. But this guy obviously spamming like this here. It cost me a couple of K in titanium, not an awful lot, but all in all about the total repair cost of one good ship. And the excuse was that it was to level up this Saladin. Now that would have definitely been getting experience points, but there's a passive way, like we've seen, that you can accrue experience points. You don't have to constantly be spamming somebody's base or wasting your resources in terms of titanium repair costs on these defense turrets. But the excuse was that it was for experience points, but we know different. And it's no coincidence that there was a fair bit of threatening behaviour, accusations, name calling, and general underhanded, ugly kind of behaviour. Not the sort of stuff that the server 1 guys would have been used to. This stuff originates from a very toxic element from server 2, who are very upset that stronger players come into their server. Even now, a year later after the merge, very upset control freaks that they lost control of the server, and a couple of people that just haven't forgotten, behaving very, very petty, and they're going around doing what they want, and it's practically impossible to mine, let alone have resources in your station. If you get caught with your trousers down and this guy's around, he's not going to be long doing things that you don't want. And yeah, a very, very silly strategy, but clearly one that was looking to be noticed and looking for attention. So here we have it, and I'm showcasing it to all of you guys. I was torn between showing off attention-seeking behaviour or not, rewarding it and giving what you want, but I thought it was important to demonstrate the sort of stuff that's going on, simply because there's a forum here on YouTube for to showcase some of the gameplay on our server. There are some people who identified where my base was and somehow found out exactly when my shield was going to drop, and arrived at a very inconvenient time and started to do this. But I was a match to it, and I made sure I was repaired all the time. You can see there's significant repair costs on that ship. So hunting the hunters, guys, well, it remains to be seen who the hunter here and who the hunted is, because I certainly don't feel like any prey. That's a very silly strategy, attacking my base. Now, I'm sure there's probably going to be some sort of response to this, so if it becomes abusive, lads, then I'm just going to have to block you and report it. There's no call for it. And like I say, this is tantamount to harassment now at this stage. There's only a fraction of what's going on. We can't mine in Augment space, despite the fact that there's a ceasefire. Augment space is supposed to be protected in some way. I wasn't part of those discussions, but that's supposed to be the way that it is. So yeah, so there was a bit of chat. The server went into meltdown. This guy took out on everybody. Won't say why. And issued a number of threats. And I have absolutely no reason to believe that they're legitimate threats. They're just a lot of blowing and a lot of attention seeking and a lot of harassment. And yeah, we'll see what they're made of. But certainly you'll not find any of our guys shying away from a fight. But you had your chance for peace. Hum are a shadow of what they were before. There's no question about that, since Jedi were formed. But this kind of harassment will not go unnoticed. And these kind of announcements, including me in with all a bunch of guys that have formed a new alliance and are away off, like it's complete attention seeking. So I have a message for you guys. So Skywalker agus Thanos agus aon duine eile, is lumanis, is minic a bhris bil duine a shrone. Be a churmach, lads. Tá the lag jacked.
I think when one has been angry for a very long time, one gets used to it. Then it becomes comfortable, like old leather. And finally, it becomes so familiar that one can't ever remember feeling any other way. Thank you, Chief.
So, Shinny, that's it. Thanks everybody once again for watching and all of your support. Take care of each other as always, and take care of yourselves. I'm going to leave you with a little something for all of my good friends in HUM and the HSS. And until the next time, guys, look after yourselves and chat to you then. Cheers.